Are you looking to invest in a powerful deck that can dominate the competitive meta? Well, look no further than this Gardevoir EX deck. With the upcoming release of the Paldea Evolved set, now is the perfect time to invest in this top tier deck and start winning, and winning big.
Winning.
In this video, we'll explore the one reason you need to invest in the Gardevoir deck now. With its devastating attackers like Zacian V, Cresselia, and 2 different Gardevoir cards, we can witness some unbeatable strategies. The Gardevoir EX deck is poised to become one of the most popular and effective choices in the upcoming competitive season for NAIC all the way through the World Championships in 2023. So why should you invest in the Gardevoir deck before Paldea Evolved hits the shelves? The answer is simple. Timing is everything. By getting ahead of the curve and investing early when the deck cost is low is a great way to hone your skills on this deck and give yourself a major edge in the competition for the months ahead. Let's break down some of the success that this deck has had in the past and where it is now. Hi, I'm PJ and welcome to the Shuffle Squad. Alright, so the first deck that we're going to look at in today's video is Tord Redcliffe's second place EUIC Gardevoir list. And we look at the deck list and we see a couple of things here, you know, kind of adapting to the meta. Maybe there was some scary Duraludons out there, maybe there was some scary Vulpix V-Stars out there. So the Ralts lineup is a little weird. You have a 3-1 line there, but the Kirlia in this deck is amazing. Now, Kirlia is a fantastic card, and if we look at the card's cost, currently the promo version of the card is at top tier. You know, it's $2 or under $2 US, and the regular Silver Tempest one is 30 cents. So if we're looking at a major point of the deck, it's 30 cents. If you can do the math pretty quick, that's $1.20 to buy 4 Kirlias right now. Then we look at the Gardevoir EX. Now, regular Gardevoir EX is around $2.36 US, and you can convert those numbers if you're not in the States. Even the full art one's $7. If we're looking at the really fancy art, it's $32.25. This deck did great things. You know, we saw it play out in EUIC. It's got the double Zacian V. It's got the Cresselia. It's got Mew from Celebrations. All of these are super cheap cards. So we have to take a look at that. Now, being that this deck really runs on the Gardevoir Kirlia engine to just get everything there, we have to look at the supporter line to see what else is helping you draw cards. We do see the 4 of Professor's Research. We have the Lumineon next to it too. So, you know, Lumineon is great to find that research or find something that you really need. Maybe you need that judge here. All of the other supporters are one-ofs in this list. So I think that that's great. You're focusing on just drawing cards, getting your energy into the discard pile so you can use Gardevoir EX's ability to put those energy back into play and put out some major damage output. Then we're looking at Miriam. So Miriam is the only recovery card for Pokemon in this deck. There's no other way to recover any Pokemon. We do have a Pal Pad, being that we do play quite a few one-of supporters here. The other thing that I'm noticing is the Sky Sealstone, and Sky Sealstone might be the harder card to purchase right now, but that's still under $2 US currently. We have 4 Battle VIP Pass for a great setup. So a lot of things going for this deck here, and I really think that it's still powerful right now. But we're going to take a look at some other placements on Play.Limitless TCG, where we host our late night event series as well. And we'll see how the deck has been doing overall and just go from there. Now, if we look at the placement here, there are a ton of top placements of the deck. We see it in both of our late nights here for the 30th of May. We have it in 3rd place and 5th place in the Late Night 104. We have it winning the Late Night 103 and also coming in 4th place. We do see it on the prior week and Late Night winning in the 101. We have it in 1st place of the Full Heal. Now this is going by date, so as of recently, it looks like the deck might have changed. Let's take a look at the winning list from the Late Night 101. I know our friend Goof GG has been working on the lists. I want to see what they've come up with. So if we take a look at the list here, we do see pretty similar on the Pokemon line on how it's set up based off of Tord. Now, we see a second Gardevoir. Now, the Gardevoir here from the Chilling Rain set has that Shining Arcana ability, so you're able to plant energy but also draw cards. And I think that that's really good because you don't want to get rid of too many resources later in the game. You might want to thin your deck out with something like an Ultra Ball here, but I think using Gardevoir instead of the Kirlia is great. Now, this is one of the more expensive cards in the deck, where we're seeing this spike up to $3.34 per card. And again, there's only 2 in the whole deck. So, if you run yourself out $7 US, it's not that bad. Even the full art version of it that came out in Astral Radiance is only $4.52 currently, when I'm looking at it here. So the lineup is pretty similar to how Tord's list was built. You've got Manaphy for bench protection, Greninja to get your energies and draw cards, Lumineon to find what you need to find. Now, Irida is something that we see pick up in this deck, and I think Irida is really great. The Irida full art supporters are also pretty cheap if you'd like to bling your deck. Regular Irida is $1.52, so on the higher side of a supporter card in cost, but Irida is able to get you Battle VIP on turn 1. So if you put a Lumineon down going second, you can find your Irida. Irida can find you something like your Greninja, and it can find you your Battle VIP pass. Now you've got a great setup. You've got Pokemon on the bench. You've got Pokemon in the active. Everybody's happy. This list switched the stone. So the stone is a little bit different here. And this one's playing the Forest Seal Stone. Now this one's a little bit more expensive. This one is a $4.20 card in the US. So you'll see that spike up and down every so often. It looks like it's been trending upwards as of late, but we're also getting close to NAIC. So with that being said, Paldea Evolved coming around, we'll probably see that one go up a little bit more for people playing tournaments out there, cups, challenges, things like that, getting prepped for the World Championship. Again, a lot of one-of supporters. There's a Serena here and a Boss, so a little bit more gusting. Brought it down on the Professor's research based off of Tord's list. A lot of good things here. Now there's 3 Ultra Balls in this list too. 2 rare candies, going up to the 2 rare candies. Seems really good, and then you're able to recycle your Miriams and get Pokemon back. You're recycling that with, again, the Palpad. So all of these cards look great. The deck looks great. 12 energies, super cheap, super effective. Let's see a different way to play the deck. All right, we're going to take a look at the list here from Thomas Harvey, who came in second place at the Hoarder Circuit series on Play.Limitless. And they are using a different style of the Gardevoir deck. Now, this is also awesome. You're playing this with the same Gardevoir EX engine. You're playing it with the Kirlias, but now it's adding in the Mewtwo V Union. Now, Mewtwo V Union is a little pricey, I guess, if we're looking at the overall comparison of the cards, but still probably running you somewhere in the $20 to $30 range at most. And that's going to get you the set of 4 cards. So all 4 cards are going to be that cost. We do see the Clef Keys in here. If there's a big Lost Box meta that you know is out there, Clef Key can really just do some work against shutting down the opponent's Comfies, so they can't use flower selecting. So many different things that Clef Key can actually shut off. It does shut off things like Genesect V from the Mew VMAX deck. So those are really good cards to have here. And then, it's pretty standard lineup. There's no bench protection in this one, which is a little scary. Going back to the 4 Professor's Research, and then one of supporters, again with Palpad and the Sky Seal Stone here. But we do see the Temple of Sinnoh, so I would assume that this deck is more geared towards beating a Lugia deck and a Lost Box deck. You have the Mewtwo V Union to take out all of those single prize attackers on the bench, with being able to plant up to 16 damage counters on the field each turn. It can also do a 300 damage attack. And then you have Zacian V with Sky Seal Stone to just knock out a V-Star and take 3 prizes there. So this deck has really got it all. So it's a different way that we can play it, but there are some shortcomings to the deck as well. So if we're taking a look at how the Gardevoir deck is currently, it does struggle a little bit. It is still a great deck, and again, a great investment. But what we see in the current meta is that it struggles because of all those one-of supporters. So now looking towards the future, how is this deck adapting?
My God, has it been that long?
I know that it's doing a little bit better, but let's take a look together at the success that it's having over in Japan, where they've got all of the Paldea Evolved cards ready and able to be used in their championship series. So the first thing we'll look at is the winning list from the most recent Japanese championship series. And this one is again playing the same Gardevoir line as we saw in the prior decks here earlier in the video. This one does run the 2 of Gardevoir, 2 Gardevoir EX, going down to 1 Zacian V, the 1 Cresselia. Everything looks pretty similar. Now the big change here is we're changing up the supporter count. Now this one is not playing 4 of Professor's Research. Instead, it's playing 2 Professor's Research. And with the 2 Professor's Research, we're seeing now 4 Ionos. Now, Iono, we don't have the exact cost because the card's not released yet, but overall, the deck is pretty similar, right? We're looking at all of the cards here. The core of the deck is the same. 7 cards different in this list opposed to going back to towards EUIC list. Cards that weren't available, right? So Super Odd is one of them. Now Super Odd you can probably pick up pretty cheap. They're all over the place because this is a reprinted card that's going to be eroded. So if you don't have your Super Odds right now, you can either wait for the newer art or you can go old school and get some of the older versions of Super Odd. So that's great. That's a recovery card. So we don't necessarily need Miriam anymore, which is good because now we can play other supporters in the deck. The one big supporter that's now a 4 of in this deck is Iono. Now, if you don't know what Iono does already, 1, remove the rock from which you're living, and 2, make sure that you're familiar with 2 different cards, because that's what they basically are. Is a Marnie, where you shuffle your hand under your deck, you draw 5 cards, your opponent draws 4, and then N, the supporter that basically took over the meta for the entire time that it was out and legal. N is such a great supporter. If you've played the GLC format, getting into Pokemon or anything like that, if you've seen some retro decks, N is so good. It's literally the best. So what we have here is 4 Ionos, which state that you and your opponent both shuffle your hand and you place it under your deck. Don't forget to cut, kids. Make sure that you're asking your opponent to cut your Ionos. It goes underneath your deck, and then you draw the amount of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of prize cards that you have, which is so great here. So it gives different things to Gardevoir. It gives disruption to Gardevoir. If your opponent's got a giant hand, now you can reduce that hand. And 2, it gives you some comeback element, which Gardevoir didn't have. So if we take a look at what Gardevoir is lacking, is that the Lost Box matchup is pretty unfavored because they can just take out all of your Ralts or Curlias, snipe out pretty much anything as long as that Manaphy is out of the way. And you also are seeing the comeback to reduce your opponent's hand to maybe 3 or 2 cards, or even 1 card if we get that close to the end of the game. So Iono is so great here, and we have Palped. We can put 2 Ionos back in, and now you're using Curlia to trade. You're using your Gardevoir for Shining Arcana. You're doing all of these things. You're using your Radiant Greninja. You can shuffle your hand back and draw a brand new hand and then some, and just come back from nothing in a game. So I think that this card alone makes Gardevoir a top tier deck, that makes it an S tier deck. So the other card that we see here is the Reversal Energy, so you can attach it to one of your evolved Pokemon as long as you're behind in prize cards, and it attaches 3 of any kind of energy. They can all be different kinds if you want it. It's basically rainbow energy on steroids, but you get 3 of those, so it's an extra boost. Now, if we're looking at cards that are doing an extra 30 damage per energy attached, now you're adding 30, 60, 90 onto a Pokemon as long as you're behind in prize cards, which could really set you apart from winning the game or not. with that extra 90 damage that you're doing with one card extra in this list. Now, it is a little bit hard to find that card, but I think that it really screams comeback in a deck like this, and I think that that is the main reason why it's not the top tier deck it should be, and that's because we don't have disruption and the ability to just draw into multiple things as a comeback element in the current decks that we have. Now, whether you're a seasoned veteran of the game or you're just starting out in the Pokemon TCG, Gardevoir EX as a deck is probably one of the best ways to get started in learning how to play or bumping yourself up to that professional level in your local Pokemon tournaments.
Woo! That game is fun!
Investing in this deck means you're going to have a huge competitive edge when playing in those future tournaments as well. Once Paldea Evolved has hit the shelves and dropped out for everyone to purchase, I foresee the Gardevoir deck increasing in price, so putting your time and effort and investment into this deck now is going to result in a gold mine once the popularity of it increases in the months to come. So don't wait until it's too late. Make sure you're getting your hands on all of these great products and cards here. That way you can watch your collection and investment grow. Again, thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. And if you liked the video here and want to see more tips like this for the future, make sure you're subscribing to the channel as well. I'm PJ, and we'll catch you next time here on the Shuffle Squad.
Thank you so much for supporting the Shuffle Squad by watching this video. It would mean the world to us if you'd like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even leave a comment. You can also click on this other video from the Shuffle Squad to continuously watch and support us. If you haven't got a chance, check out the description to learn more about our sponsors, and that could also help support the Shuffle Squad. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a great one.